Okay, so this opener is my favorite D&D joke. And that is, whatever character, he's like, I must avenge my brother's death. And then it's like, Barbarian's like, you have my axe. The Ranger's like, you have my bow. And the Necromancer has, and your brother. I love that joke so much. Necromancers are my favorite class because I love summoners. Also, Necromancers have the funniest macabre jokes you can have. And, like, I'm not a dark humor person, but sometimes dark humor is funny. Now, when I say that is because I don't want to be judged. Because dark humor people are like, oh, I'm being edgy and I just say really terrible things. Like, that's not good dark humor. Good dark humor is just macabre. And there's just these funny jokes with corpses and things like that. But it's not trying to gross out. It's not trying to be edgy. It's just like, oh, that's funny in a messed up, dark kind of way. And there is a fine line there. There really is. But, like, I like the humor of a necromancer. But the other reason why I like necromancers is because they're summoners. I like summoners. Summoners are my favorite class. I love having an army of things with me. So I like summoners, I like tamers, I like necromancers. Those are my classes. So Diablo, which I don't play anymore, because I still boycott Blizzard. Diablo, it was, of course, Diablo 1, the mage, when he could make all those turrets and golems and all that. Diablo 2, necromancer. Diablo 3, it was the shaman, and then... yeah, we're at Diablo 3. 4's coming, and I'm not going to play it. So, stop thinking about it. So, I like having a lot of just summons in whatever game I'm playing. City of Heroes, my favorite MMORPG of all time. I was a mastermind. I love City of Heroes because you could be a mastermind. Masterminds had henchmen. You could have a robot army, a mercenary army, a ninja army. I think you had gangsters, and there was like another group. I can't remember right now. That had to be like, there was like a girl group too you could have, I think it was. And I went a pirate who had an army of ninjas that he adopted. Like, that's what I had. And that was fun. So I had like 3 ninjas. Like, I had like 3 Genin, and then like 1 or 2 Jonin, I think it was. And then I had a demon ninja, which was cool. And then there were like the extra summons you could have. So I had like a shield turret. I mean, I had a shield drone, and then I had a turret, and then I had a mine layer. I had every summon you could possibly have in City of Heroes. And that was really fun. I just loved having an army of things and going, attack! And they just went and wrecked everything. It was so fun. That's why it's my favorite MMO of all time, because no other game does that. Other games are like, you get 1 creature and you send it out. And that's cool, but it's not as cool as a dozen things. Like, essentially, like, I'm in a situation, I'm just yelling, to me, my X-Men, and then my army of ninjas show up and then wreck everything. Because that's how X-Men fight, if you didn't notice that. X-Men gang attack everything. Like, it's not a 1v1 fight with a Sentinel. No, it is a dozen suckers, a dozen people wrecking 1 sucker. That's what it is. Like, the X-Men believe in, like, overwhelming force, and that's what a mastermind is. It's just overwhelming force. It's what's so fun about it. So as a summoner, any game that lets me have, like, a dozen summons, I'm going to summon everything and just send it at everything. Ultima Online, you did taming. So I remember I tamed like 20 chickens, named them all just various names, and would roll around with them, and it would freak people out. They're like, holy shit, there's 20 dudes coming over here. It's just a dude with 20 chickens, which was hilarious. The chickens couldn't fight for crap, but it was funny having them all. And then other games, but like, I just like having a lot of things. And then I was like, okay, why do I like having a lot of things? And I think it's because I'm a lonely person. I forget what I thought about it. Like, years ago, I thought about, why do I like summoners so much? It's like, well, because I like people and I like being around people. And I'm just a very lonely person. I like crowds, but I feel very alone in crowds because I don't know anyone in these crowds usually. So there's the why. Why does Scarf like summoners? Why does Scarf like armies of things? Because Scarf is very alone. Scarf is a very lonely person. So this is actually the second shot of a vlog. The other version, I talked about some things I'm reshooting because there's certain things like, I could do that better. And I could do it shorter and faster. So the first thing I talked about in the first version was this. That is, It's not a requirement. Oh, by the way, like my background, like how everything's going, by the way, this is a Kirby Forgotten Land shirt. I am a Kirby person, but it is not all I am. And I think it's an important thing. A problem with humanity is we like to break people down to one thing. And there's that old joke. You could build bridges, you can build museums, you can build all these great things, you can be a great architect for society, you can have these great builds that happen. But you fuck one goat. And that's all you're known for. And it's true, isn't it? We're known potentially for the worst thing about us or the biggest thing about us, depending on the person. Because like someone who hates us will know us for the worst thing. Or will make the thing about us the worst thing. Like say someone hates me. They're like, they'll hate me and then say it's that Kirby loser or whatever. Because not liking me also makes them not like Kirby. Or they just don't like Kirby too, and so they put them together. While someone who likes me, like, oh yeah, it's that Kirby guy. The guy who really likes Kirby. He's pretty fun. Like, I love it. His podcast is great. Like, that's ways about it. But the self, you don't see yourself as just that thing, obviously. I am more than just a Kirby fan, of course. I'm also not the biggest Kirby fan. I want to be eventually like the guy. Right now, the guy is a couple other people. But I want to be the guy who's like, I know everything. I know all the lore. I know all that stuff. Part of the podcast is diving to everything eventually so that I know everything, and that'd be fun. Like, I want to be that. I want to be... Look, the pipe dream is interviewing Sakurai. That's the pipe dream. Interviewing anyone from hell. That's the pipe dream. That is the dream. And that won't happen at least until another 10, 20 years from now, because I need to get fluent in Japanese. And also build a bigger repertoire of fandom. We are getting more and more views every day and more listens, and it's great. I'm really happy about that. But I'm not just the Kirby dude. Who am I to me? I am a creative person. I like making things. I like drawing. I like writing. I like a lot of things. Kirby just happens to be my comfort character, and I need a lot of comfort, obviously. I have hundreds of Kirby things. I'm nowhere near the real Kirby collectors, though. Those Kirby collectors, I love following them because I'm like, oh, I did not know that existed. And it's really cool to see people have all those things together. There is a $400 Kirby. It is gigantic. It is huge, and I want it so bad. But the import cost is like $500. If the import cost was $100, I'd buy it. It's just a $500 Kirby instead. But right now, importing from Japan is really rough. Like, I wanted to import all these little Kirby plushies because they're super freaking cute. But the import cost was double them. Like, well, I can't justify paying $150 for $50 worth of Kirby. I just can't. I want to, but I can't. By the way, I, like everyone, have wasted my money on things, of course. Everyone wastes their money on ridiculous things. But, I don't know, like, import cost just feels like too much. It just feels like too much to pay the import costs. After this, I talked about heroes, because I'm like, am I a hero? Alright, that's why I talked about... So, on my gravestone, it's going to say, dude really liked Kirby, and hopefully it also says husband, and, like, father, and maybe cool dude. I don't know what else will be on there. I'm like, it'd be cool to have hero on there. And then, it's like, well, define what is hero. Like, years back, I talked about this before, like, what makes someone a hero? And I got pushback from different people for different things. And I think it depends on intentions, it depends on results, it depends on a lot of things. But it's a lot easier to say what isn't a hero, I think. You can argue what might be a hero, but it's a lot easier to say what isn't a hero. I think I could arguably be in the talk because we have prevented 7 suicides. That's pretty good. I think what isn't a hero is Tom Brady, just because he's really good at sports. Like, that's not a hero. Like, Michael Phelps isn't a hero for being really good at swimming. Like, that's impressive. That's really cool to see that. People who are really good at sports are just impressive. The real heroes are the ones who do sports but also do a lot of philanthropy. That's what I see as a hero. Every year at the Super Bowl, they'll give an award to a dude who does a lot of philanthropy, and, like, that's the real hero in my opinion. If Tom Brady's done philanthropy, let me know, because I don't think he's done any. You can like Tom Brady for his sportsmanship, Well, not really. He's a bad sportsman. Like when he loses, he's a bit of a bitch. But you can like Tom Brady for being really good at winning, being really good at football, but he's not a hero for that. I think heroes are like, of course, the doctors and nurses on the front line dealing with this pandemic. That's definitely a heroic thing. They've been saving lives left and right. I think heroes are, of course, teachers who are dealing with the crumbling infrastructure of teaching and trying to keep it going and help kids. Those are heroes. Yes, soldiers who are willing to put their lives on the line for us, of course that's a heroic act. That's a heroic thing. Same thing goes with, of course, firemen who do the same thing. And as much as I hate the police right now because of Uvalde, there are police who are heroic as well. Painting everything with one brush is just terrible. There are shitty police, but there are, of course, also good police. There are shitty everything. Well, of course, there are good everything. Oh, yeah, I didn't talk about this. So, it would be great. It would be nice. Despite it not being all of what I am, it'd be nice to marry a Kirby girl. Someone who likes Kirby a lot, too. Because they would understand me. They would understand how ridiculous I am with Kirby. To a lesser extent, it'd be okay to marry a gamer girl or an anime girl, because they would at least understand some of this, because I'm sure they have a lot of gaming stuff or a lot of anime stuff, so that we could at least be somewhere in the middle on that. We could meet somewhere on that. We could understand each other on that. Because that's what I say. Kirby isn't my own identity, but it's a big part that is important to bridge. I could not be with someone who just thinks Kirby is crap. Like, that just makes no sense. Or someone who thinks anime is for children, or someone who thinks games are for children. I don't even know how we'd get past the first date if that happened. But let's say I got in a relationship with someone like that. That'd be nuts. You want to be with someone who accepts who you are, who wants to be with you, and who likes all the things about you, or most of the things about you. There is some payment for love in that, like, they're just things about your partner that you don't like, but they're not deal breakers kind of thing. Like, you just deal with it, and it's not like a sacrifice. It's just, this is like the negative parts, but they don't outweigh the positive parts kind of thing. Like, say, obviously, on a weaker extent, like, you're just being with someone who's a snorer. Someone who just snores really loud, so it makes sleeping not so fun. Like, one would hope you would say something, and that they would try to mitigate their snoring as best they could. You try to mitigate it. You would just try to do things to deal with that. You wouldn't just quietly suffer. But there were things like, yeah, the things you just deal with, like someone has. Like, there's maybe some little quirks or pet peeves. Like, you just deal with those because they're pet peeves. They're not big issues. The dream is to be with someone you can be 100% authentic with. That is the dream. And I think what happens is a lot of people end up with like 50-50 or 60-60 or 60-40, where they're mostly who they are, but they still have these wants that aren't being achieved. And so that's what ends up killing the marriage or the relationship. I don't know. I think like successful marriages are, well, there's different foundations for marriages for what makes them successful. So maybe we shouldn't go into that, but just, it'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice? I have no clue how to find that. I have no clue how to find a Kirby girl. By the way, most of them that I've met, they're either married, engaged, in a relationship, or they are interested in the other team. I have not met a single Kirby girl. I've met plenty. Okay, the single Kirby girls I've met, they're all children. Because they're children. It's like, yeah, it's the same thing with like gamer girls. Like, they're all taken. Like, anything in some niche group, it's like, look, they're all taken already. So that's unfortunate. It's the best way to put it. But it'd be nice. People have different goals for what makes them happy, and I think what would make me happy in a relationship is to be understood and to be accepted. I think that would give me much joy. Other people, they're like, well, they just want a trophy wife, or they just want a sugar daddy, or a sugar mama, or a trophy husband. Some people are just like that, where it's more transactional. And those people are weird to me. But I'm sure I'm weird to them because they don't think love exists, kind of thing. There are just very cynical people out there. And now I'm going on a ramble, so we'll stop there. I had a lot of things I want to talk about, but this is long enough. And I think this is a much better vlog than the first one. So that's the vlog. I had fun. Hope you had fun watching. And that's what's all about, isn't it? Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.